And I actually noticed that you predicted that on the 29th of, I guess you're saying on the 29th of October, we're going to have a stock market crash. Is that what you're saying?
No, I said the 29th of October is the time where they had the Great Depression. So I assume something's going to happen, but I can see that Evergrande did not collapse because they met one payment. But ultimately, they will collapse. So they're prolonging their agony, number one. Number two, getting back to Wayne Willett, I would have to say that he said Trump was coming back on April the 1st. He never came back. Then he said that Trump was going to be arrested, which really traumatized a lot of people. That never happened. Then he said gut punch, which
actually, I heard that prediction. Well, let's slow down a minute. So he didn't say Trump was going to be arrested. He said they were going to try to arrest him in the next couple of days. They never succeeded. He didn't say he would be arrested. There's a big difference.
What's with the cloak and dagger crap? The doubles, all this crap.
I may not agree with their tactics necessarily, but it's their tactics. So yeah, well, I agree that there is something very strange going on about the 𝐉𝐍 story, which is why I'm investigating it. But I think if you're going to attack the things that he says on a platform, I think it's very important that you be specific and correct. So I'm noticing people are getting things wrong. The actual words are not so we don't want to put rumors out that aren't accurate, right?
Well, he's now being quoted by, it's funny because we have Restored Republic that quotes me exactly what I say. And then, of course, Restored Republic's intel is the same as mine, pretty much that Trump should be returning in November. But then after they say that, or before they say that, they say, and 𝐉𝐍 says that we are in a war, that Trump will not be back till March 2022, and the war will continue for years and years. Excuse me, reality check, if we continue at this rate, America will not be around in 2022. Hello? It's very bad. I did a whole show about what's happening at the border from your Project Camelot. I read what you said. So, yeah, I use you as a source. Yes.
Well, according to one of my deep sources, which actually I put in touch with Juan, and he's also been to the border and been very involved in what's down there, by the way. So, yes, we are, in fact, right today, we got some new intel saying, that supposedly, I guess this was actually Fox News saying there's, I don't know, I think it was Simon Park saying 120,000, kind of troops coming in that are run by the cartels. And then I was told by another source that that's not true. So, it's very, banding about intel is a very strange game. And I think everyone has to sort of keep their powder dry, listen carefully, and then follow the trails as best we can. I agree with you that, if Trump waits till 2022 to come forward, that's going to be a nightmare, and that's probably not going to be a good idea. But whether Juan actually said he's not going to come forward until 2022, my understanding in listening to him was that in March of 2022, that was a sort of end of some kind of months and months of whatever's going to go on now, like starting with Red October. And that during this time, it's very likely that Trump would come forward before the end of 2021. That's what I understood. So I think everyone gets different information when you listen to him, and sometimes sentences get run on together and people misinterpret. So, but we don't have to necessarily argue over dates, because I think I don't think dates are really smart. I don't think he's in charge of dates. So I don't think he's in charge of when Trump comes forward.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Let's just go through his little career, shall we? He was an insurance investigator that lived on his boat on the Puget Sound. That was a couple years ago when he wanted to come on my show.
Because as far as I'm concerned, at least at this point in my investigation, there are two Juans. One of them is JFK Jr. So when you start talking about Wayne Willett, who I actually have his whole, sort of background dossier thing that was sent to me a year or two ago. So I know, and I think a lot of you can definitely spout it off about it. I just want to be clear. There appear to be two people, and, I'll bring back the pictures so you can kind of clarify. I have actually more pictures. I met one of the Juans a year, like back in February of this year, 2021. I was there with a group of press, and we spent a weekend, interacting with him more or less, watching his film, The Called, and watching another film, Sound of Freedom, and being at a cocktail party. I was like inches away from him, okay, several times. And this is the same guy that I just met the last night I was in Vegas, which is like, I know it's all sort of vague at this point, but I got back late Tuesday night, I guess I got back. So it was Tuesday, was it Tuesday night? Yeah. So Monday night, I met with him face to face again. The one I met with is the one I met in February, but it is not the guy on the video who came forward as being Juan O'Savin publicly on video showing his face. So I think we have to make a distinction when you're going to go over the dossier as to which guy we're talking about, because the one who came forward in video appears is a completely different person than the person that I met face to face. And I was like arguing with the guy 3 inches from his face on Monday night. So, and I can tell you, has blue eyes. First of all, John F. Kennedy Jr. has brown eyes. So, and the guy who went on stage, I'm not sure because I couldn't tell from photographs what his eye color was. It looks brown, but I'm not sure. So it's a very complex story, and there's also a lot to do with disguises. And yes, it's cloak and dagger, and you may or may not agree with it. I may not agree with it, but that's what they're doing. So, that's good. I mean, but if you have intel from your insiders, let's hear it.
Okay. So my insiders say that Juan O'Savin, if he ever had any information, has been cut off from that information already. He's been cut off. So he's got nothing basically now. So what my intel is that Trump should be back soon in the beginning of November is my intel.
Okay, great. Okay, any more specifics about that?
Well, finances first. They're still trying to push that NESARA through, and it seems that certain places have gotten their Just Sarah already. So you have to do the finances first. We know that there's going to be a blackout. We know, and that's going to last for a period.
Yeah, but they've been threatening that for a long time and getting those dates wrong as well.
Well, they did a little test on the blackout on social media. I already talked about what they were doing.
Yeah, when Facebook went down.
Yeah, the test on social media went down October the 4th, and a lot of things went down. That was a test. And so we have social media down first, then we have internet and cell phones, and then we have the mainstream media will come down third. Either they take themselves down, or the Starlink satellite run by Space Force will take them down. Will jam them down just like they did the Ever Given ship and jammed it into the Suez Canal. And the CIA lost a lot of children, 1,366 dead, a lot of weather weapons, and stacks and stacks of regular weapons that they were going to use. So yes, that was a huge loss for them.
Okay. Now, as far as what you're seeing is you think that the blackouts are going to continue and they're going to happen in the future, in the near future, right?
Yes.
So, and you think there's going to be a financial sort of crash sometime before November 1st, or are you trying to be specific? Are your sources being specific?
They are, with military sources, they are not that specific because they tell you this has to happen before this happens, right? So if the economy does not crash, which is poised to do, so we have